Hey guys, welcome. Today's video we're gonna be looking at how to pass a parameter to Riverpod classes like the notifier, async notifier, stream notifier, or whatever. So we have here an async notifier subclass as an example. So inside this class, we have this process information function, and inside this function, let's say we want to process the name of the user. Let's say we need the name of the user here. So the typical way to pass that information is through the constructor of this function. But what if you want to inject the name as a dependency of this class? How would you do that? So what we need to do is to convert this to a family async notifier. And then here in the provider, we need to add this .family flag to conform with this family type. And as you can see, our IDE is complaining because we need to specify two types here. First is the return type of this build method. So we give it a type of void and the type of the parameter you want to inject. So let's give it a type of string, just like that. And here in the build method, we need to accept the parameter like this. And then we also need to add the parameter type here in the provider, like this. Alright. So the cool thing about it is you can access the parameter anywhere in this class. So you can access it inside this build method, and you can also access inside this process information method, like so. And inside the widget or anywhere you need to initialize the class, you can pass the argument like this. And then we save the changes. Oops, we need to restart our app because we made the changes to our provider. And as you can see, after restarting, the build method was invoked and printing the argument we passed. Okay, let's try to test it if we can really access the argument inside this process information function. Let's trigger this inside this onPress function. And then let's click the button. Alright, it's printing as expected. Alright, that is how to pass a single parameter using this family modifier. But what if you want to pass multiple parameters? Let's say you need a name of type string, the age of type integer, and a boolean type whether the user is married or not. Unfortunately, we cannot pass multiple parameters using that family modifier. You need to encapsulate those into a single class and then pass it as a single parameter. But thanks for the records feature introduced by Dart 3.0. We can encapsulate multiple classes or types without the extra work of creating a class that will encapsulate this into one. We can just simply enclose it inside a parenthesis and it is already encapsulated like a single object. Alright, let's see this in action. Let's enclose this with a parenthesis. Let's add integer type for the age and boolean for the married. Okay, let's do the same in the provider. Alright, to be able to access the parameters, we need to tap on the $1 for the string, $2 for the integer, and $3 for the boolean value. And then let's pass the arguments. And restart our app. Okay, let's invoke our function to see if it's printing the correct arguments we pass. Alright, it's printing the correct values as expected. If you want to make your arguments as unnamed arguments, to be able to tap on the names instead of the $sign, you can simply enclose your parameters with a bracket and then add the name, like this. And then you need to do the same here in the provider. And when passing the argument, you need to specify the name like so. And then let's try to restart our app. And you can see that Iris is still working correctly. What if you're using code generator? How could you do the same? So let's try to generate a notifier class. Let's give it a name of sample notifier. Give it a type of void. Let's import the annotation. So what we need to do in order for the code generator to create the arguments is we need to add the types of arguments over here. And then here in the build method, let's accept the parameter like so. Then let's remove this return because we're returning void. Then let's run the build runner to generate the code. Alright, as you can see, here in the generated code, we can see that the arguments are created. But the problem is we are getting an error here because the name of our arguments is conflicting with the default argument. So let's try to rename our parameter and regenerate the code. Alright, we no longer have any conflict. And after generating the code, you can now remove these types in order to compile. And then let's test it if we're correctly getting the arguments. Oops, I defined this inside the build method. Alright, let's restart our app. Okay, the arguments are printing correctly like magic. Alright, that's it. And I hope this helps. If you have any questions, you can ask it in the comment section below. See you next time.